So here we go, man. We're going to stay in here. We're going to tune in here for the bottom of the ninth, or for the top of the ninth here. Our Reds are up 6-1 going into the bottom half, or going into the top half here. Hopefully we can get something closed out. Should be a lot of fun to cap off a night that started an hour and 50 minutes behind what it was supposed to be. Corey, I think we were going to be talking about doing this thing just before 9 o'clock. So should be a lot of fun. But chat, Corey Phillips here, or Eric Phillips here. I'm here with my brother Corey T. Phillips. You guys have seen us on some preseason stuff, a couple of recap shows. We'll be taking you through Fridays and Saturday nights here for the season. So really excited to be here. Blessed with the opportunity. We're going to be watching the top of the ninth here as our Red Legs try to close it out against the Nats. You guys know what the rundown is going to lead off with when we get to the other half of this. This is going to be a lot of fun. But Hunter Greene going and having an electric night, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. But for the meantime, let's take a look at this top of the ninth, get this thing closed out. I didn't actually have my sound down, so I hadn't seen if we brought in a pitcher. Yes, we did. So Emilio Pagan's going to come in and try to close this thing out for us in the ninth.
Emilio,
I'll try to keep you up. There he is, the mighty Duck Man himself. So it's kind of crazy. It feels like we've been in the driver's seat all night. This is seems inevitable to get to this point after Hunter leaves the game. So excited to see if Emilio can come in and continue the stretch here of good bullpen work, dating back to the Suter innings. I know the batter's retired streak ended there a little bit ago with the Scott Barlow walk, but it'll be fun to see if Emilio can get this thing going. But
absolutely, bullpen's definitely been a strength for us down the stretch here, and I hope we can keep it going. I was really excited about the emphasis on bullpen depth at the beginning of the season, and now it's really starting to come to fruition. Man, we just got arms on top of arms right now.
Yeah. So he's got to see 4, 5, 6 here for the Nats. Left-hander in Ruiz up to plate first. Sees the first pitch fastball, and looks like Pagan's coming out throwing. So really excited to see what he can do here. All in all, it's a rough night, rough week for the grounds crew and the poor folks that got to work at the stadium. It's a couple of rain delays, a rain out, man, having to take care of everything. But kudos to them. When they started to talk about, I think it was the top of the seventh, right before, or top of the sixth, right before Hunter left, I was worried that our dude was going to be in trouble and we were going to end up in another rain delay situation, maybe even a shortened game opportunity. And that was going to be a wild way to start this thing.
You aren't kidding. I was really worried. I was really getting worried and stressing out with Tito there in the sixth inning when he kept having to throw pitch after pitch after pitch. So the last batter kept fighting him off. My man had foul balls all night long.
40 foul balls. Dude had 69 strikes. 8 of them went in play. 40 of them are foul balls. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a wild stat. Yeah. That is just a wild number.
They said in the pitch tracking area, that's the most foul balls a Reds pitcher's given up since they've been tracking pitches like that. So
I swear they got 30. I swear 37 of them were that last batter.
Yeah, it felt like it. Oh, man. Well, we talk about it every time a closer comes in. It used to be the running joke with Diaz. Now it's Pagan. It's 6-1. Does the tying run come to the plate? We got a runner on first and nobody out, but he looks a little sharper than that. So hopefully he can get the ball over and have the defense work a little bit because they've kind of been sitting on their heels. I think we've got 13 strikeouts as a team.
Yeah,
not a lot of action for the boys in the field tonight.
You're not kidding.
Oh man, Ty Steve coming back, getting a good thing going. Awesome to see that.
Right, what a big night for my man. It was so good to see my guy back.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm pretty sure if they put you in the lineup and put catcher next to your name, you'd go 2 for 2 too.
That's just it. Being a Reds catcher is where it's at right now.
Oh, my. There it goes. We're up and away. We've got an 0-2 on him, though. Hopefully get the first punch out here. Keep things going here. Come on, Emilio.
Absolutely.
Got Garcia Jr. 0 for 3 for the night. He was 2 of the punch outs here. Oh, man. Like I said, folks, if this is your first time joining us, we're going to do this for the top half of the ninth. And there's your first out. First one's a big one. Gets a punch out. Loving that.
Let's go.
Light the flames. Everybody's already got the free pizza sitting in the stadium. Good for them. Game Boat La Rosas.
Good moods
Remember
all the
that
way around.
Heck yeah, man. Remember that Dave Matthews show we went to when I had about 15 of those little small pizzas? I went and redeemed them all and then brought them up to Blossom.
Oh, the best pregame ever.
That was the best pregame. Oh, man. Thank God. I think I was a Hunter Greene start too. Got 11 strikeouts, cashed them in, was ready to go.
Right on.
But now we get to, I think we got a pinch hitter for Josh Bell. It's Ahmed Rosario. Is that who that is? Yeah, sure is.
All right.
If you're a card collector, you've seen Ahmed Rosario all season in the Topps 2025 collection, but in a Reds uniform for some reason. It wasn't destined that he was going to be gone anyway. So, but hitting 255, got a home run on the season, so it's not a terrible year for him. 642 OPS, but he'd just be another guy, the Diaz and everything train. You know, he could probably play a little bit of outfield for you, but I don't know. We got 0-2 on him. Hopefully put this thing away quickly. Have you watched in watching Santiago Espinal out there in left field, does it feel like he's hurt every time he pulls up to a fly ball? Like he's got this, I don't know if it's if you call it bow-legged or a stiff leg, like the way he approaches things, even when he runs the bases, he pulls up, and I always think that he's stiff, but I think it's just the way that the dude walks.
Yeah.
Far be it for me, because I run like a duck. I'm as pigeon-toed as they come, but
just a little hitch in his giddy up there.
Well, yeah, there's something up.
Right. He kind of short-armed one there earlier, and it didn't look graceful, that's for sure.
No, he's still getting used to left field. And I mean, thankfully, Great American's not a very big left field, so I think you can get kind of comfortable out there, but it's one of those trying to figure out, what the best option is out there until Austin Hayes gets back. Thankfully, you did have him sat for 3 days. And one of those, you had, it's a 10-day DL, but he is going to miss 7 consecutive days because we don't have an off day between now and then. So that hurts. I mean, when you add it up, however many days you're gone, that's one thing. But it's a lot better when you can, maybe catch 1 or 2 off days in there as part of your 10-day DL stint. But yeah, missing Austin Hayes for 7 consecutive games after today definitely is a blow to the system. It'll be nice to see this team eventually fully healthy. I feel like it's something we're going to be praying for the entire season.
All right. It seems like everything.
Rack up another one, baby. That's 2. Come on. Everybody on your feet. Get it moving. Let's get it going. Let's go.
Let's go.
So those of you asking for a dunk, I'm in an office here. This little area off to my basement. There is a hoop out there. If things get crazy towards the end of the postseason, I'll do some backflip dunks from the trampoline over to that thing. It had some rough and rowdy boys down here a couple weeks ago. Had a 7-year-old go through the wall. So there is a nice big wall patch right underneath the basketball hoop. And I had that one coming a long time. So I put a hole in somebody's wall when I was probably 10 or 11. And when I say I didn't actually put the hole in somebody's wall. I put a kid through a wall. We covered it up with a fish tank, and his parents didn't find it for years. It was sweet.
There you go.
But yeah, this one I had to actually fix on the ready to go. But Elishiva Jones, thank you for the cool cap, man. Appreciate that. That's awesome. This is the Big League Chew series, actually, what New Era came out with last year. I was really excited to snag it. I love this one. We got 0-2. We got Emilio trying to punch things out against this Dylan Cruz, top 5 prospect in baseball, struggling to start the year. One of the guys I was excited to see come in. Misses up and away a little bit, but here we go. Kind of wild how game day keeps up a little bit quicker than what the Spectrum app does for me down here in the basement. I have a feeling I know where this one's going, and it's a very similar spot to the rest of the ball game. So here we go, Emilio. The 1-2. Boom. Put a hole in, baby. That's it. Comes in, strikes out the side. Reds win. Great start to the series. Folks, we're going to be back on the other side of this thing. We're going to be recapping the game. Corey and I got you for the first time live here on a Friday night. We'll be here tomorrow night on Saturday as well. But looking forward to recapping this thing for you as the Reds win this one 6-1 on the backs of a dominant performance from Hunter Greene and another good night from the bullpen. Can't say enough about where these guys are. It's a lot of fun. I saw somebody mention it a minute ago. It feels like we're in every game with this pitching. So, Corey, you want to hit that track, and we'll catch these guys up on the other side. Hello, and welcome in after a Reds win. Great to see you guys. I'm Eric Phillips. I'm joined by my brother Corey T. Phillips, and we are here to break down a 6-1 Reds win here on Friday, May the 2nd. Really excited to see our boys get off on the right foot against these guys, and it's on the backs of a dominant Hunter Greene performance. So super excited to be here. Corey T., welcome back. Man, taking this one in tonight, didn't think we were going to get it in there for a minute. After an hour and 50-minute rain delay, this thing gets kicked off around 8 o'clock. It's currently 10:48 Eastern, so God bless the pitch clock. This thing still moved along pretty quickly. But what'd you think about tonight?
Oh, man, what an exciting night at the ballpark. Having Stevenson back in the lineup obviously was a key to tonight's game. My man came to play. I mean, on base a couple of times, drove in a couple runs. So nice to see TS back in the lineup, man, and get this thing going. And I cannot wait to get all of our power healthy again. When you can see the guy likes Austin Hayes and Stevenson and those guys in the lineup, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. But good night at the ballpark, and highlighted by another great Hunter Greene performance, man. That guy was just lights out tonight.
And that's really what it was. He's overpowering. I mean, that Larkin kept talking about it. It looks like a fastball coming to those inside on the left-handed hitters, and it drops down to the back foot, and they're just swinging right over top of it because they feel like they have to catch up to the velocity. I think Hunter leaves the game with 12 Ks. He was absolutely dominant. The one lucky Josh Bell swing, we've seen that guy do it to us a couple of times. Thankfully, it's a meaningless home run. Doesn't really mean much, but man, we're really pumped up to get back to a rundown here tonight. We're going to talk about Hunter Greene, Tyler Stevenson, talk about the boys' overall patience at the plate, and then we'll get into a little bit of Santiago Espinal. Corey and I are still figuring out the works of this thing, so we don't have that really pretty rundown in the middle with the box score and everything. But your Reds do win 6-1 tonight. And Corey, you want to take us down through the box score?
Absolutely, man. Reds and Nationals from Great America Ballpark. A little bit of a late start tonight at an 8 p.m. start after an hour and 50-minute rain delay. Had Hunter Greene versus Parker Mitchell. And what a night at the ballpark it was for Hunter Greene. My man was just lights out tonight. But starting off the scoring in the first, after a walk to McLean and Ellie. After a walk to McLean and Ellie, there was a 2-run double to left center. 97.9 off the bat. My notes are really shoddy. I'm not sure exactly who hit it to give us a 2-run lead right there in the
that's your boy Espinal putting one in the left center field.
Santiago Espinal.
Yeah. So
the only thing I didn't have on my notes was actually who hit it. So bear with me here, live chat. Bear with me here.
Hey, it's a first time for everything, man.
So anyway, Santiago Espinal gets it started off with a 2-run double, 2-0 Reds, and going into the second, Hunter Greene fed off of that. Was striking out the side there in the second. And then Tyler Stevenson making his debut this season. First plate appearance, he walks. Dunn was hit by a pitch after that, and followed by an infield single by T.J. Friedel. And then Tyler Stevenson ended up scoring on a fielder's choice by Matt McLean, making it 3-0 Reds. So leading into the third, Greene, a little bit of a scary moment for a second, man. He was hit by a pitch on the back right shoulder off of a 97-mile-an-hour line drive right to the back off of C.J. Abrams. But he was able to bounce back and actually struck out the side in that inning as well. And we followed up in the bottom of the third. Tyler Stevenson hit a standing 2-run double, scoring Espinal and Steer, making it 5-0 Reds. Just the only blemish for Hunter Greene tonight was actually in the fifth inning when Josh Bell hit a home run to right to lead off the fifth inning, making it 5-1. But come back and add an insurance run in the sixth with Tyler Stevenson leading off the inning with a ground rule double. It's a 370-foot ground rule double, 95.6 miles an hour off the bat, followed by a Jose Trevino single with a runner at first and third. T.J. Friedel hit a sac fly, scoring Tyler Stevenson 6-1 Reds. And from there, we turned over to our bullpen, and same old story with the old bullpen. The trifecta of Scott Barlow, Tony Santillan, and Emilio Pagan shutting the door for a 6-1 win on a glorious night at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, maybe not so glorious for those in attendance. I mean, when you get an hour and 50-minute rain delay to start things off, that's a little rough. But, it's one of those things that we the ebbs and flows of it. It's kind of weird when you look at it, because I was down at the ballpark Tuesday night when it actually got canceled. If you actually look at how many games have been rained out, it averages like 1 per season. And that's super weird because I feel like I've been to like 13 of them over my time as a Reds fan. And when we were younger, we didn't get to many, but it felt like we were getting rained out all the time. So, but when it averages out, but awesome to see the Reds, the offense comes back. Nothing. We didn't have to play long ball anywhere. It was, Trevino contributed, Espinal contributed, Stevenson contributed in a big way. And so you've got these guys at the bottom of the lineup. It's still we're still in a situation where we're playing with house money. Ellie's still going to win you games. Matty McLean's going to keep winning you, or is going to win you games at some point in time. Like, this offense can get better, and I think that's what's so exciting about it. But everything has to start with Hunter Greene. Tonight, Hunter was the man. He was the ace of the staff. He still had that chest pump going. He was talking his stuff. He was doing a really good job of making sure that these guys were ready to go and we were into this thing. The energy wasn't low in any way, shape, or form. It was kind of interesting. You had Carson Spires in the ballpark tonight. You had Jamer Candelario in the ballpark tonight. It was really cool to see, one of those situations where he's a leader. Like, letting him go out and do his thing. He does get up over 100 pitches, and it felt like that last batter in the sixth had a million different ways to get it going in terms of trying to foul things off. But Hunter eventually puts him away, and doesn't just put him away, puts him away with emphasis as he chucks his bat halfway down the first base dugout. So awesome night for Hunter. Really excited to see him back. Jim Lafferty, see you there in the super chat, man. Thank you so much and for the warm welcome, and we're very happy to be here, man. And absolutely go Reds. We're pumped up. Corey and I have been lifelong Reds fans. We're not your typical Trace and Nick. Those guys are incredibly entertaining too. We started this journey as fans of them, and when they asked for some help on the weekends to be able to get a little bit of their lives back, Corey and I decided it might be our opportunity to step in and try to help out a podcast that we've listened to with regularity. Also, see you, Ricky. Hunter's the best pitcher in baseball. I said it. Welcome back, Steve. Welcome back, Ty Steve. Don't let us get hot. Too late, Ricky. These boys are hot. I mean, you're in a situation where you go out and you've split with the Cardinals. You've got to win here. You're a win away from the third consecutive pot of games. You had a winning road trip, or you had a winning homestand, then you had a winning road trip. Now you're talking about another winning homestand if you can take one of these last two from the Nationals in the 7 games homestand that they've got here. So really exciting in terms of getting hot. I would love to see them string it together. You got a 5-game winner a couple weeks ago, or their last week that gets busted up. But this situation with these guys where they're at, it's somebody mentioned it in the chat a minute ago. The pitching is going to keep you in all of these games. It's unbelievable to see where this team can go, because there's even when the starter has a rough day, there's a stopgap in the bullpen in Ashcraft. Brent Suter comes in and takes care of business. Still can't thank enough for what Brent Suter and Lyon Richardson did the other day, eating 3 innings on both sides of that crap sandwich we had to eat against the Cards on, Wednesday night. So it's awesome how we're set up now. You didn't have to use Graham Ashcraft tonight. Pagan would be good to go tomorrow. So just a great opportunity for these guys to continue to stay hot against the Nationals team that at the beginning of the year projected to do better than where they're currently sitting. But, with Dylan Cruz not hitting as well. But it also, again, what did we sit here and talk about all of last year? Left-handed pitching. This team was abysmal against left-handed pitching. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's probably the 11th time that we've beaten a left-handed pitching starter this year. So I'm really excited about where we are with that. And it only gets better as Austin Hayes comes around. So what were your takeaways from Hunter Greene, Corey? I mean, is there anything else that we can add into what seems to be at least an all-star vote at this point?
No, and that's exactly it. That's an all-star vote. It's pushing on Cy Young vote at this point, especially if he can keep up this kind of consistency. I love to see the fieriness from Hunter. My man come off the mound after that last strikeout, and my man tossed the bat into the stands, and Hunter Greene's pounding his chest and giving him a let's go. And I just love to see the fiery nature out of him, man. It just seems like a different mode. My man is he's leveling up right now, and so it's exciting. I get really excited for Green Day every time it rolls around, every 5th day, man. And honestly, we've got enough arms behind him and enough arms in the bullpen to accent him where we need to. And so I couldn't be more excited about this pitching staff right now, man. It's time to get on a roll and get started.
Yeah, absolutely. And what brings after Green Day, you get a chance to see your boy Nick Lodolo taking on, I believe it's Trevor Williams, who's going to come in here. And Trevor's, touting a 5.79 or a 5.70 ERA coming in, throwing from the right-handed side tomorrow against these guys. Another weird start time for a weekend. Usually see these games get into the 7s, but 6:40 tomorrow. All kinds of weird start times this weekend with the Flying Pig. Tonight's game's supposed to have started at 6:10 because there's a mile race. Tomorrow, if you're downtown, good luck. 5K, 10K, a bunch of different stuff going on with the Flying Pig. And then Sunday, you actually get the marathon. So the Reds are pushed all the way back to a 4:10 start, which is kind of terrible on a getaway day when you got to get out of town or out of your own ballpark. And you've got to push back to 4 o'clock. But Flying Pig, unbelievable event here in the city of Cincinnati. And they do a lot of really good things in the community overall. So if we have to sacrifice a couple of game times for a weekend, so be it. But Trevor Williams coming in tomorrow, going to see our boy Nick Lodolo. But back to tonight, before the game, had an opportunity to, kind of see the news. Everybody saw it on X. Austin Hayes to the IL, punch in the gut. It always seems like it's one step forward, two steps back. Tonight, it seemed like it. Now that Ty Steve actually hit the ball, it's one step up, one step back. So Tyler Stevenson comes back. First appearance in the 2025 season after the oblique injury that sidetracked him right coming out of spring training. But awesome to see him actually get the bat on the ball in a big way. And I believe that is actually our Deep South Commodities deep drive of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir, it is. The Deep South Commodities deep drive of the game was his 370-foot, 95.6 mile an hour ground rule double to left center. And, of course, Deep South Commodities, our Deep South Commodities deep drive of the day is sponsored by DSC. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks, as always, to our friends from DSC.
Always, yeah. The used cooking oil production and what they're able to do with that on the back end is actually really impressive. If you look up the YouTube videos and what happens after you get your fish and chips this weekend, knowing what that oil can go to and what it can turn around to from a recycling standpoint is kind of fun. But back to the ball game. Reds win 6-1, beating up on the Nationals. That takes the Nationals to 14-19, fourth place in the NL East. That takes our Cincinnati Reds to 18-15 and second in the National League Central. At last check, the Cubbies were blasting the Brewers. 9-0 was my last check, and now looking into it, I believe that game should have gone final. And yeah, we'll find it here in a second. But in doing so, that we're still going to hang out in second place, a couple games behind the Cubs. Looking forward to seeing if we can, kind of close that gap. We do have a couple of games with them here in the month of May. We'll see them 5 times before this month's over. A weekend home series there, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And then our last 2 games of the month are at Wrigley on the 30th and 31st. So all kinds of opportunity to make up ground. Still very early in the season. Don't want to look too terribly far ahead, but man, whenever the Cincinnati Reds and you're talking playoffs, it's a great opportunity to see how these things can kind of come together. With the chat's going off here, we're super excited. I see somebody saying the Cubs are likely never to lose again. We'll have to beat them in the NLCS this year. You know what? I'll take that. That's okay.
I'll take that all day long.
We can make that run. Like we can make that happen. I think we'd all sign up for it if we were able to beat the Cubs in the NLCS. But I like the opportunities that we have in front of us, and it seems like there is an expectation to win with this team, and I think it starts also with the plate. You and I did a recap of the first couple weeks of the season a few weeks ago, and we were talking about a losing record at the time and how these guys were not seeing pitches. And tonight you saw patience at the plate. And that's what takes us to our third topic tonight, the patience at the plate leading to those early walks. You had a pitcher on the mound from the Nationals, big, tall, left-handed guy. They made a really good point of it on the broadcast. His foot and his arm angle were coming out at different times, and he couldn't get his timing right. His foot would land and slip a little bit on a wet mound. That ball wasn't coming out at the right time. That fastball was staying high. Ellie, Matt, Stevenson, everybody's drawing walks up and down the lineup, putting dudes on, never let that dude get comfortable. I think we were through 75 pitches in 3 innings. And so what they could do, just by being patient and knowing what's coming to them and taking what's there, nobody's swinging out of their shoes. You heard our Deep South Commodities deep drive of the game. It was a ground rule double by Tyler Stevenson. Nobody hit the ball, like an absolute tank outside of Josh Bell tonight. And so it's just taking what's there, shooting the ball the other way, Espinal turning on one and putting it in a gap, just all around the patience from these guys that they saw tonight outside of Spencer Steer. My one gripe with that is still on Spencer Steer. It feels like he's coming back. And then tonight, in my opinion, in the first inning there, he took a step backwards. We had just seen Ellie walk. We had just seen Matt McClain walk. And then Espinal runs a full count, hits his double. Spencer Steer swings at the first pitch, and it was the 25th pitch of that first inning. Spencer Steer gets up there with 2 outs, a runner on second base, runner in scoring position, and he knows we've got this guy on the ropes. He's already thrown his 24th pitch, and on the 25th pitch of the inning, he swings at a first pitch fastball, and he skies it up into the air. I don't even think it made it out of the infield. If you're going to be first pitch hitting and you're going to ambush, it has to be a secret at some point in time. You can't just ambush all the damn time, Spencer. You've got to be careful with what you're doing there. So
right.
It's going to be a lot of fun with what these guys can do as it trickles down. But you saw Jamer Candelario and those guys on the bench, and you saw some of these dudes, and you see the little bit of the team camaraderie coming together. It feels like everybody wants to be a part of this thing, but you've got to start hitting the ball in order to be a part. And I think that takes us to our fourth topic, man, and that's Santiago Espinal. Tell me about what you saw from him tonight.
Santiago Espinal is making a case to where you got to get him in the lineup every day. I've definitely not been a big advocate of putting my man in the outfield. I don't like putting natural infielders in the outfield, but with the way he swings the stick, especially against left-handed pitching, you've almost got to find a way to get him in the lineup on a daily basis, especially right now, playing the hot hand. I mean, my man is just hitting the ball well. I mean, he obviously he specializes in hitting against left-handed pitching, but even if something happens that you sneak in a right-hander there, he's still going to have a good bat. He's still going to make contact. The guy barely strikes out. I think he's one of the few guys on the team that actually has more walks than he does strikeouts. I think he's got 7 walks and 5 strikeouts. So when a guy's swinging the bat like that, man, it's hard not to find playing time for him every day. What do you think?
No, I think you're exactly right, and it's weird because those guys mentioned it the other day. He's not tall enough to play first base. Like that's not where he's at, and so with him not being tall enough to be a first baseman, I don't want to mess up with whatever Noelvi Marte did coming back, from his IL stint when he had to come back up and what the tear that he's been on over there playing at third base. But Noelvi is tall enough. And if you were able to have an infield, and this is pipe dream stuff, of Santiago Espinal playing third base, Ellie playing short, Matt McClain at second, and Noelvi Marte with a pretty sick glove over at first base, if he can figure out the ins and outs of what it takes to play that position, you've now got one of the best defensive infields in baseball. You found a way for Espinal's bat to be in the lineup every day. McClain's in the lineup every day. Espinal and Noelvi Marte is still in the lineup every day.
Well,
and then you go ahead.
To that point, what about flip-flopping him? You keep Marte playing the hot corner where he's been his whole entire, where he's been literally from day one, and putting Santiago Espinal at first base. I know it's not ideal not having a tall first baseman like that, but you want to talk about a guy that can glove and actually make some of the digs out of the dirt that we've been struggling to make here lately. It's definitely not your first choice as far as first basemen are concerned, but my man's got a glove and you're trying to get him in the lineup every day.
Yeah, and if you want to see these lineups come into play, I mean, Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Chatterbox Sports. Tomorrow you can get into the park for $19 on Game Time right now. On Sunday you can get in for $10. So if you want to see them before they leave town and you want to send these guys off, this winning Cincinnati Reds team, if you want to send them off up to Chicago before we go pound the crap of one of the worst franchises in baseball, you have that opportunity. So 19 tomorrow, $10 on Sunday. But Game Time is so awesome because you can buy with one tap. I've got my credit card preloaded. I've used Game Time a million times. You can also buy Reds parking passes on there. So whether or not you're wanting to go to the East Garage, the Central Riverfront, or you're wanting to go to Central Riverfront West, any of those parking garages that are underneath of there, Game Time usually has those as well. And so look there for your Reds parking, your Reds tickets. It's a really cool opportunity. And like I said, it's a very quick. I could open the app, and I'm going to tell you right now, by the time I'm done with this read, I could have tickets bought to tomorrow's game. It really is that easy. Once you have everything loaded in there, make sure you get that opportunity to go in, see the all-in pricing, shows you your total with fees before checking out. You can get panoramic seat views in the app, event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled, the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CBox for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CBOX for $20 off. And we love those guys at Game Time. And it's funny, even before using the app, before they came on as a sponsor, when I was listening to Nick and Trace, Game Time is something that I was actually trying to turn some other folks onto. Some other podcasts that we've listened to also had a code that was able to get me in the door, figured out how easy it was to use. And I've been a fan ever since. So it's been a lot of fun, getting a chance to join a team that, is getting some kick from the guys over at Game Time.
Oh, absolutely. I've used Game Time for Reds games. I've used it for concerts. I've used it for Blue Jackets games. They are absolutely fantastic. So get yourself in there, man. The all-in pricing is definitely my favorite part. I enjoy the all-in pricing, so I kind of know what I'm getting into before I get to that last checkout screen. So, but yeah.
Those early December CBJ games, I think the boys and I went up. I think we paid like $7 a seat. And if you've not been to Nationwide Arena, that's definitely worth the price of admission as well.
Absolutely.
At $7, you go in and get yourself a cup of Tim Hortons. It's a great Tuesday night up there in the metropolis of Columbus. But also, we're in good spirits tonight. We're doing really well. But if you find yourself ever not in great spirits, don't forget about calling that number at 988. We also want to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health. whether it's an immediate crisis or simply wanting to find out how to connect with care or anything in between. It's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. Talk about your problems. Talk about your friends. I think I've got a few of my friends running rampant in the chat right there. Go for it. Lay into us, boys. We've expected this thing. We've got some thick skin. We absolutely love to see you. We appreciate you guys joining in and talking with us here. But I do have I've got a question here that's coming from the chat. It says, real talk, Corey and Eric, how do you feel about Star Wars Day on May 3rd instead of May 4th? I would have to say this has to do more with the flying pig than it does on the Sunday piece, or it has to do with be more being on a Saturday than it does wanting to do a massive giveaway on a Sunday. There's already so many other discounts like family days and things like that go on in the ballpark. That will be a massive draw with that bobblehead tomorrow night at the ballpark. So with that being on a Saturday, they know that can create a big draw, and then should be a pretty, electric Jedi atmosphere in there tomorrow night. But Corey, you're the Star Wars guy. You tell us about it.
I am not the Star Wars guy.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I honestly don't get into it too much. But that was one of my first thoughts when I saw the promotion days. How you have a Star Wars Day and miss May the 4th be with you. But by the same token, it is what it is with the flying pig and the whole situation. I completely understand where it's coming from. But to say I'm a fan, I'm not a fan. Make it on May the 4th, man. May the 4th be with you is Star Wars Day.
Well, and you also got to remember what's going on just about, a couple hours down 71 there in the Kentucky Derby. So you've got 250,000 people that are going to be, thronging to Louisville to go watch the Derby tomorrow. And so the Reds have to pull every trick that they've got. And what bigger way to try to get some folks to stay here in Cincinnati rather than going down and sipping mint juleps than to throw a Star Wars bobblehead out there for tomorrow night. So as we're watching the winners cross the finish line, the Reds will be taking off on first pitch at 6:40. And hopefully you get a chance to secure one of those bobbleheads as well. I'm seeing some folks, Anakin over Luke. Seems like billiards player vibes. I'm not sure what that one means, but keep it coming in the chat, guys. We're here to answer any questions. It was a great night, a 6-1 series starter, our boy Hunter Greene, and you get a chance to follow up with Nick Lodolo. It was a rough couple of starts there, coming out of it was after the Colorado series. His next start, him and Lodolo don't even make it out of the 4th inning, when they go back to back. But I think if this team's going to get to an NL Central championship, it has to be on the backs of these two horses. And where the bullpen is right now, do I think they can keep this up all year? I don't think so, but at the same time, there's still bullets in the chamber when it comes to Luis May and our boy Big Sugar Zach Maxwell. Which that was something I did want to cover with you. You sent me that message the other night that he gives up walks the bases loaded, gives up a walk-off grand slam. Don't want to play head games with a guy. Luis May gets the call. Maxwell and May have been fighting to be that first guy to come up in the Reds bullpen all season long. If you're Maxwell, you've put up the numbers that he's got. How in the world do you feel when you see Luis May get a chance to celebrate knowing that he's going before you have to go out and pitch? Because I believe news broke on Twitter before he goes out and throws those pitches in Louisville, and you have that, or I think it was actually down in Memphis. But you've got a situation where not jealousy, hate to put a guy in a corner. I have no idea what he's thinking. He may not have known that Luis May was on his way. But in my head, as an athlete, as somebody that's, if you're as an athlete, I'm not an athlete. As somebody with a competitive mindset, if I were in the situation that Zach Maxwell in, it would have messed me up a little bit mentally too. I'm going to take a look at that, end of the game blown situation. I still want Big Sugar up here as soon as possible. I can't wait.
I don't disagree with you, man, but by the same token, be a professional. There's two ways you can take that. You can either beat yourself up a little bit, or you can use it as a competitive edge and go out and give us your best performance. And as more of a hey, you might have sent the wrong guy kind of thing. But that's not the outing that we got. But it's not the end of the world. I definitely look for big things out of Big Sugar. But it was I think that was the night we lost 2 in a row lost the doubleheader to the Cardinals too. So it was just kind of rain on the parade that day. But
that was our boy Chase Petty's starting debut as well. So it was one of those, like, we're sitting here clamoring for arms and talking about Luis May and Maxwell and Chase Petty and Burns, and we want to see Rhett Lauder, and we want, and then Petty gets shelled, and Maxwell gives up a grand slam to lose it. It's like, I pumped the brakes a little bit. We're okay with what we've got. Nobody's lost the spot yet. Yeah. Well, and it's fun because this team's not putting you in a spot where you have to, like, we were on here a couple weeks ago talking about accountability. What does it look like? Does it mean you bench a guy? I don't know. I'm not a Major League Baseball manager, but Tito knows. Tito's figured it out. I don't know if it's, I'm not going to call it manipulation, but I don't know what it is that they're doing with the injured list and how these guys magically end up in these deep slumps and then all of a sudden they're hurt. But that seems to be the case more often than not with this team. Jeimer Candelario goes down. I don't think Austin Hayes was in a slump of any kind. I truly do feel like that's a little bit of hamstring tightness. But the manipulation, the Diaz, just the flat-out demotion, we're not putting up with it anymore. You either do or you don't. And we've got a little bit of depth to play behind you, and you've given these guys an opportunity. Don't let them see your backup. Guess what, Jeimer? Noelvi's not bad. Don't let them see your backup. You did this to yourself. If you never see the ball field again, I'm sorry, but at the same time, it's okay. Take your $64 million and see ya. Like that, it's not a big deal. And that's what Tito brings to this thing. He talks about the stability, bringing that energy every day. It's a good time to make sure that we're, getting our best foot forward, because as somebody talks about here, beat the bad teams. Yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. And if you bring a crap energy and dudes are just getting to play because it's what they've always done, a la the David Bell era, that's not good. That's not what good teams do. That's not what winning baseball looks like. So to see that little bit of accountability, whether Jeimer had to go or he was forced to go, Alexis going down, Luis May coming up, giving these guys these opportunities to stick around and poke out. I guess from there, who's your next couple of guys? Like, who's got the neck on the chopping block as we look forward here?
And that's exactly it. I mean, and like we've been saying all year, iron sharpens iron. So when your replacement comes in like Noelvi Marte behind you, or it's put up or shut up time. You know what I mean? And it's hard to feel bad for guys. But just going into the whole Terry Francona thing of what he knows and what he doesn't know, I'm liking the patience. Patience with Fraley. Finally got Fraley right. I know there was a little bit of conversation on yesterday's show about patience with Matt McClain in the 2-hole. I'm kind of on board with Nick. I leave Matt McClain in the 2-hole and let him go and figure it out over the series of 162 games. Matt McClain's going to get himself right, and I like that consistency. So are there questions? Yes, I've had questions that Tito's made in some of the decisions and that sort of thing, but his overall knowledge and his overall patience and how he sees it big picture, it gets me really excited for what it can do for the rest of this lineup too.
Yeah, and I think that now you're sitting in a situation where Blake Dunn and Jake Fraley are your right field platoon. It's one of those two every day. It's a righty-lefty matchup. I'm okay with it. I would like to see a little bit more out of Blake Dunn. We have not seen the stick come alive at all. Jake Fraley got hot there for a minute. I keep calling him TJ. Jake Fraley got hot there for a minute, hits the grand slam. Looks like he's going to start to see the ball well. He's come back down to earth a little bit now. He gets a first pitch swinging it back tonight. And it's one of those, okay, that right field platoon, is that where you start to look? Because if you're going to be in contention and you've got this little bit of depth and you've got dudes like Cam Collier and the Rhett Louders and the Chase Burnses of the world, if you've got the chips, do you go get a Luis Robert from the Chicago White Sox? Do you make a drastic move to kind of go all in, knowing that you've got this 3-year window with our superstar Ellie De La Cruz? Do you kind of push your chips to the middle of the table and say, depth is for later, this is for now, and let's make a run at this thing? So it'll be a lot of fun to see, where this thing goes and whose feet get put to the fire next. Austin Hayes for another week probably buys Espinal some more playing time in left field, probably gives Blake Dunn a few more starts. But Jake Fraley being out there, it's one of those things that I want to see these guys go. And with Tyler Callahan up, if he can somehow play in that outfield spot and start to produce, now he's putting Blake Dunn's feet to the fire, or he's putting Jake Fraley's feet to the fire, batting from the left-hand side. Whoever, I don't care who it is, just produce, so that way we can feel good about whatever lineup gets out there. Because there are some special ones coming. Not to mention the DH role is getting sucked up now, because if there's not a DH, if the catcher is not DHing, or one of the 3 catchers isn't DHing, I think that's when I'm going to be most upset with the lineup.
Yeah, it's got to be one of our 3 catchers or Gavin Lux at this point, because those seem to be the 4 guys giving us the best at bats on a consistent basis. And Gavin Lux is slowly becoming one of my favorite players on this team, man. That guy's just a consummate professional day in and day out. His at bats are just fantastic.
And is that your first baseman? Can Gavin Lux play? Like, who can play first base? I'm coaching a 7-year-old baseball team right now. Who can play first base is selected by who do we feel like isn't going to get whacked in the face by the baseball when it gets rocketed over. But when it comes to Major League Baseball, who's got the footwork, who's got the intangibles that can figure it out and be smart over there? To be honest with you, Spencer Steer doesn't look comfortable at all. He looks like it looks like first base is the moon to him. But trying to figure out who can do it with a consistent basis and not be a liability on defense, as long as you're contributing with the bat, you can play first base for me any day. So that's what we're looking for. When it comes to where these guys are and kind of what we've got coming up, really like to see a few more folks get opportunities on a day in and day out basis. But you're really settling into your 3 catchers are going to stay here for a minute until Wins goes down, and then when it comes to Noelvi, Ellie, Matt, that's a pretty much an everyday thing. TJ's every day in center field. Your platoon situation in right seems pretty shored up. So when Austin Hayes gets back, first base and the DH are the only spots that are kind of up in the air. This thing's starting to they're not the grade 8 by any means, but we're getting to a spot where we've got an everyday 8 lineup that we feel pretty good with. And now it's starting to find like who can be the bench guy, who can come off of there. We do have a question in the chat here. What did you think of Tito leaving Hunter out there for 118 pitches? Last time he went over 100, he blew up in the next start. Is there a good reason to push him in a game with a decent late lead? No, there's not a good reason, but it was the way that it worked out. It was that last at bat, I think, ended up being 12 or 13 pitches because that dude kept taking sword type cuts. He was never in jeopardy of that dude getting good contact off of him. He was just trying to spoil and live to the next pitch and hope that, I don't know if he's trying to draw a walk in that situation, but he went very Joey Votto-esque with some ugly swings that the bat the ball happened to find the bat. And he just, he kept fouling pitches off. I don't think you ever want to, you're not going to pull him in the middle of a pitch. So when you say 118, yes, that's bad. But I think that at bat starts under 105, which is okay. If he's under 105, I don't think it's a problem. Right. You're not gonna pull him in a 2-2 count just because the guy keeps fouling balls off.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what the pitch count was, but it had to be somewhere around 80 pitches when that inning started. So you're, with the way he was going, you're definitely not thinking he's not going to throw a 25 pitch inning or 30 pitch inning, and then you get in the middle of that last at bat, and you could literally see Tito eating his fingernails. My man was getting nervous in the service.
It's kind of funny if you're watching the broadcast too. Jim Day's got his not mannerisms, but he can read him like a book.
Oh yeah,
and when he throws that in there, and then the camera's on it, and then the camera can't look away. It's like the crying Northwestern kid at the end of March Madness. Like the emotions are there. Keep on it. Like keep the camera there. We can. It's just jaw dry. It's good television is really what it is. And also kudos to those guys that call the games. I love Sadak. Barry Larkin, he's a legend. I'm not going to say anything bad about him here. There are other color commentators I'd rather listen to. But at the same time, the new camera angle of whenever they have a ball that's put in play and it comes down that third baseline, that is a beautiful shot. Yeah, especially when watching Ellie get going from first to third on the double there of Espinal and scoring there early in the ball game. There's not a whole lot of prettier things to watch as a Reds fan than Ellie at top speed. So really fun to see. But Ned Flanders, thank you so much for the super chat there, man. And we'd be happy to answer any other questions. We're going to be wrapping it up here shortly, but really appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be back tomorrow night. We're going to give this thing a second go around. We do have a 6:40 start time. Again, it's Nick Lodolo versus Trevor Williams. Williams comes in with a 5.70 ERA and 26 strikeouts. Nick sitting at 3-2 with a 2.25 ERA and 27 strikeouts. So excited to see Nick get a chance to pitch. Weather is in the forecast again tomorrow, and it will be on Sunday as well. And so stay tuned. Follow X. Follow, the Chatterbox folks. Follow Corey and I. We try to retweet any kind of game updates that we've got. If you're down at the ballpark, get on your feet, get loud, because this is a winning baseball team, and it's time to start bringing a winning mentality from the stands as well. And we please bring lightsabers and Star Wars costumes. You know what? I'll give you guys my best Chewie voice. That's about as good as I can. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate everything. Make sure you guys get an opportunity to like and subscribe if you can while you're on YouTube. We'll be in your podcast feeds tomorrow morning. But again, your Cincinnati Reds win this one 6-1 over the Washington Nationals, taking us to 18-15 in second place in the NL Central. I think we've covered just about everything. Corey T, you got anything else?
As always, go Reds.